Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you? This is Heather here at Kotaku, and I am going to be playing a wonderful game. This is The Signal from Tolva, and I am joined by a very special guest. I am joined by the developer, Jim Rossignol, and he's right over here. I think you just told me how to say your name, and I butchered it.
No, that's good.
I butchered it with my horrible American
It's fine. Let's go with that.
voice. So, when I first saw this game, I wrote a small piece about it on our site because I thought it looked absolutely rad and really, really cool. There's an ambient quality to it, and then also there's like open world exploration and some other things with some very cool future guns and robots, and that's like 100% my aesthetic. So with this game, I know that you had, before this you had done writing, you had written for PC Gamer, and then you were also co-founder for Rock Paper
That's
Shotgun?
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so how do you make that leap from that to going into game development, and specifically what was kind of your aim with Tolva?
So we've been doing this since 2010 now, but I've been sort of on the back burner as far as the sort of development team goes. James Carey and Tom Betts have been the core team for most of that. And we started off doing a little contract thing for Channel 4, which is one of the local British
news
TV
station.
And they wanted to do educational games, and we did one of those, one called Fallen City. And then from that, we sort of jumped on the Kickstarter wave when it was at its highest, and we made So You're Being Hunted, which was sort of came in the first wave of survival games.
Right.
And that was greeted very well. That sold nearly 500,000 copies now. And on the back of that, we ended up doing our sort of wish fulfillment kind of fantasy, kind of sci-fi game in some ways. I think it's very much getting to sort of the dream game area that I've always wanted to make. Something
Sure. That march towards the thing that you kind of have inside you that you really want to get out there so that other people can play, and now this is finally it.
Precisely, yeah.
That's so exciting.
I mean, people who've been following my writing for years will be able to see tons of the sort of influences from my interest in sort of ambient stuff through to the idea that concept art should really lead the way the visuals look in game.
Well, because I mean, I love the way that the world looks in terms of this feels like a nice ambient alien space, but also I can already see like game designer critical me is like, oh, like this is kind of framed so I have like a nice vista ahead of me. I have all of these things. It seems very picturesque, but in a nice retro future kind of way.
So the concept artist that we ended up working with was a guy called Ian McHugh, who just came out of a 20-year stint at Rockstar. So he worked on GTA and drew a lot of gangsters and cars and cowboys and stuff. So the iconic Red 4 Dead image
of him sort of pointing that gun forward towards you.
I think that's one of Ian's. And anyway,
John Marston is about to shoot you.
Exactly, yeah. And I have to apologise. That's not one of yours, Ian. Sorry.
Is it not?
I don't know. I can't remember. I think that's one of his. But his sort of very painterly, splattery visuals obviously did a lot to set up a lot of the art that you saw on their stuff. But
sort of loose and free.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see that in the sort of textures and stuff that we've created. It's all sort of very splattery and
kind of the way that the wall and the rock has those kind of harder tones to it.
Yeah, I mean we put out a video actually just after Christmas with Ollie, our main artist, explaining how he did that, and there's some technical tricks there which allow it to look sort of hand painted without him actually having to hand paint anything at all, which I think certain tech companies were very pleased with. I've asked him to kind of follow up with tutorials and stuff, which is sort of nice to be noticed when we're such a small game.
Of course.
Made that kind of,
it has the vaguest sense of like a cel-shaded. I can barely talk all of a sudden. Cel-shaded. I was almost going to say shell-shaded quality to it, in the sense that those edges are still like pretty harsh, right? The way that the light hits them and everything.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I mean, they're not like deliberately outlined or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's reflected in Ian's art, is that all his paintings are very chunky, and there's lots of sort of big hard edges, and sort of everything has sort of fins that come off at angles, and
Lots of
have sort of
fins.
very but very bold structures and everything.
Right.
So we try to reflect that in the game world.
Sort of these harder spaces here too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the the sort of visual development of this was absolutely nerve-wracking for me, because I really wanted to do justice to a lot of that stuff, and there were games that we cited, such as Dishonored and Borderlands and things that I've always been really enamoured with the visual development on them, and so yeah, if you go into the scan mode there.
Scan right there.
Well, the little sort of tutorial guy that's popping up there, the other thing he told you to do was if you hit G,
If I hit G,
you get like a scan
oh my gosh.
mode. And if you turn back and look at the thing that you were looking at, that's giving off a kind of weird
Oh, you're
animation.
killing me. I love it.
Okay, so anything that you want to scan or interact with will have some kind of emission.
Sort of a
or
glow on it that
emanation
you
on
can
it.
see.
So when you get into an interesting area, you can push that scanner on and have a look around.
Yeah, I
and,
can help guide you through the environment. Is there anything that we can pick up from the environment here yet that we see?
Yeah, I think if you turn to your right a bit, back towards the building, actually, you'll see that one of there's a little resource thing on the ground. That's
Right,
glowing
there
as
we go.
well.
So it glows. So that's a nice little bit of helping people find their way in exploration to find. Because you were telling me before we were starting that there's all sorts of items to find in the world, right? A lot of salvaging, kind of a junker feel to it a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's right. So the sort of backdrop is that robots have arrived on this planet to search for the signal, and you are connected to or sort of hacking your way into one of the factions.
Right.
And that faction is a sort of surveyor faction, so they will fight and they'll get into scrapes and stuff, but they're primarily there to carry out
Just kind of
surveying missions and collecting stuff.
collect all the junk.
Whereas the other two factions are much more aggressive, and you end up sort of getting into battles between them, and then surveyors will get involved as well. And we have tried to sort of bring as much life to the world just from sort of independent AI activities. There's no real scripted events. I mean,
Sure.
there are a few triggers here and there that set off things, but the main sort of driving engine of the game is actually the surveyors and the other factions sending out missions and going for patrols and going to areas and surveying them and scanning them themselves.
And then also kind of running into that activity within the game world itself, right?
Exactly.
Sort of.
So you disrupt that, or you cooperate with it, and you'll sometimes be assisted by the guys that are on your side, and sometimes even by the guys who are on the other teams if they come in and attack a group that's in your way and things like that.
I was going to say, what is this? And our little robot buddy is telling me that it is a base.
That's right.
So we can go pick up some new equipment, because I haven't fired them yet, but guys, the guns in this game, very lovely, punchy sound design. Really, just this. That's absolutely gorgeous. I really like that.
So there's a friendly turret came down there. So the robots heard the gunfire there and have just come over to check it out.
I kind of spooked my own guys a little bit, huh?
Yeah, they'll come and investigate any sound.
Interesting. You could probably use that to your advantage every now and then, I bet.
Yeah, and when a fight kicks off, they'll any sort of nearby patrols will rush over and
Right,
check
to
out what's
kind
going
of grab their attention.
So this is the first base, one of the bunkers, as we call them.
Yes.
These will spawn patrols that head out into the world. They also spawn sort of a group of guards that will always be present.
Cool.
And so that's you just saying that first thing that you scanned is one of the surveying missions that the surveyors want you to do, and that's you.
This wonderful little drone is me.
Yeah, so you're looking fairly skinny, not much cladding, very very low level.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little exposed right now.
Yeah, huh?
I don't know.
And as you go through the game, the drones become more elaborate, and the cladding builds up, and you get some kind of very impressive hardware.
And then it does
later
look.
on.
There's also weapons and shields and all sorts of things too that'll help out.
Yeah. So as you go through and you survey more of the signals, you cache those in at the bunkers, and it unlocks those for you to purchase, and then that's where the resource gathering comes in. Is that the stuff that you're gathering is the sort of the cash resource that you then purchase what you want.
And it keeps that loop going of you kind of going out surveying, bringing back what you can, using that to kind of build up and move on to your next survey.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of sort of tactical play there where.
Oh, here we go. Speaking of tactics.
Yeah. So if you look down into the valley there,
Yeah, I see some
so you
fellows right there.
I think if you hit B, you should move to sort of a magnified vision. So if you try and if you do right mouse, so as in
Oh,
sort
there
of
it is. Yeah, of
aiming,
course.
So you can see those guys, and if you sort of hit fire on them now, you can tag them in a Far Cry style.
Oh, very nice.
And that'll keep them tagged so you can know
I
where they are.
thought I saw at least one more. Yeah, there we go. There's some over there. I was like, I know that there are more.
Yeah, so those guys are just hanging out there by their lander, scanning stuff and patrolling, and they'll react if anything happens. But otherwise, if you leave them undisturbed, they won't do anything. But
Well,
you can go in and have
I
a
don't know.
little
I think we should probably take care of it. This is we put a gun on the mantelpiece. I think we have to fire it. After all, I'm very nervous though. These robots could cause a lot of trouble for me. I appreciate the way that when I'm firing too, like it feels definitely like a projectile, right? It's not necessarily like launching forward and hit scanning like straight towards the enemy, but like there's some character to the gun in the sense that like I feel, as much as you can feel like a weird energy weapons like have like there's
I wanted to make
kind
it
of
sort
punch behind it.
Yeah, I want to make it sort of concussive. So the
Oh, look at that. We do have a little buddy coming.
oh yeah,
to help us.
he's heard the sound and he's come down to get involved.
Perfect. I love it.
But we wanted to make the. So I guess the backstory for this in development terms really is that lots of people said to us that they found Surya being hunted just too intense, like they were always being hunted by a robot, they were always having to run for their
Right.
life, they were constantly being murdered, and they wanted something a bit more chilled out. And I think we wanted something a bit more chilled out as well. So this is quite a sort of ambient, chilled experience for the most part. But the combat, by contrast, is quite punchy. It becomes quite intense.
Well, yeah, and that gunfight was pretty quick in the sense that like walking through this open world has been pretty relaxing. The kind of guidance from point to point has been pretty chill. And then that gunfight, I mean, early game gunfight, smaller enemies, but like that was nice and quick and it felt snappy.
The early game is relatively quiet because at this point as well there are very few patrols out into the world, so the AI hasn't produced a whole bunch of guys moving around. But as you move into sort of the central map, you have multiple bases that are all sending out patrols and they start
Right.
encountering each other.
Because there's also
Yeah, this is the whole map here.
much
which
more
you
space
you can click and drag that
to check
across.
out. Yeah.
So yeah, at the moment you sort of have the first wave of missions, and you can head off and do any of those at this point,
Right.
and do them in any order. And then beyond that, you don a bunch of hazard protection systems that allow you to get into more dangerous areas. And so actually, if you go back to that map,
Yes.
one of the main tools is you can see that you've actually placed a waypoint beacon on that.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the description there, it's got a couple of things, and one of those is the Squid Freaker Mark 1.
Squid Freaker.
That is the hacking tool of the game,
Oh, awesome.
which is one of the coolest kind of things that you can use, in that it allows you to recruit a couple of allied guys who will then
Yeah.
be your buddies, and you can command them. So if you head
So that
towards
seems like something to
that
head towards
beacon-
and kind of take care of and check out.
Yeah, you can. I think you need to do one more mission actually to equip it after you've done that, but that should be easy enough.
Yeah. And this kind of nice downbeat space again, where we have that pause, like again, between combat, where we're entering an open world that's pretty relaxed, has that nice art quality that you were talking about. But then again, if we are curious, maybe we might see something on the horizon that might.
So there is on the other side of this huge rock here. There's another bunker. This time though held by enemy robots. So you could choose to completely ignore that. You don't have to take the bunkers. The territory game is actually almost optional. You don't have to capture any of the bunkers if you don't want to. Makes it harder to access equipment and get around the world if you don't.
I feel very tempted. I think we might have to. I'm glad that you told me, because I'm sure I would have skipped right towards that, and then it would have just been a heck of a mess. So let's see what we can do here again. I felt like I wasn't too accurate shooting this thing, so maybe I was trying to do it a little too far away. Okay.
So that guy was hit there. He's going to run for cover because he couldn't see what.
Oh yeah, he
he's not
didn't
aware
kind of
when-
see what was going on. The colors of the beams too are like nice. Like all these little touches I do appreciate, particularly in games. Let's see that.
So you're going to need to. I think V and X are going to come in handy at this point. So you actually have a personal defense shield that you're going to need to throw up.
Ooh,
oh, that wasn't the defense
that
shield.
wasn't the shield. That was definitely something else. That was.
Yeah, that was one of our area effect.
And then so this is the shield though.
Yeah. Now that's only going to last for a few seconds, so you want to get in and get engaged while that lasts. You will auto repair to a small level. So yeah, if you run inside now,
Yeah.
So
That felt good.
You wiped out the guards, you captured them. So the shields can be upgraded. The AOE's are slightly more interesting in that they have lots of different effects. The one you've got is just a sort of
Just
basic
kind
damage
of a
one.
damage attack.
But if you go in here now and run up to the console again, I think you have a bunch of those actually unlocked by default. So if you go to customize loadout and then to the
You could
AOE,
go
which is
to
forced down.
AOE.
So you can see that there are a bunch of different ones. One of them, that's not too handy now, but when you have recruited some guys,
Yeah, I'll be able to kind of heal my own teammates when they're getting hurt, right?
Exactly,
So like a big AOE healing boost.
yeah, and then the other ones, one of them blinds your opponents, so they end up sort
Yeah.
of wandering around confused for a few seconds.
Right there says disrupt their sensors.
And then the final one causes them to flee, so they will all fall back to defensive positions.
Interesting.
But if you play a sniper role in this, so you unlock a sniper rifle and you start to play sort of further back and so on, what you'll do with that is sort of run forward, hit that, causes them all to retreat, and then you snipe them as they run away. And
I
then
kind of like that.
pick them out from
I do
the
enjoy
places they've retreated to.
Kind of sniping and sneaking around a game. Let's equip that for now.
It's also very useful as the game goes on, and you start attracting sort of groups of enemies rather than just a single squad as you've encountered so far. Then using that to repel them and push everyone back so that you can get yourself out of a sticky situation becomes really useful.
Yeah, you probably use that to save some of your teammates too. If you don't have the healing one still, like that still seems like a decent option to kind of draw back the enemy away from you. From
Right.
your little robot pals.
And because of the sort of free-form nature of the game as it is, as you need to head right up to the top of the hill.
Yeah, I was going to say I have to go pretty far climbing up.
The chances are that if you do get engaged at some point, that other patrols are going to hear and they're going to approach from other directions. So a very common thing is you'll be attacking a base or rooting out an ambush or something like that, and another patrol will have heard the commotion and they come running from behind.
It'll start to balloon and build.
And having those AoEs to push them back and then get out there and reposition so that they're not sandwiched between lots of hostiles is a really good thing. So I think those are some friendly guys.
I think those are
so they
nice, happy guys.
They will have heard the battle that was going on back there and come to investigate.
Look at this fellow. He is walking with a purpose.
You've captured that base already, so they're heading back to whatever they were doing before. One of my favourite things is when you find a patrol that's just wandering in the world, just to go with them and see what they end up doing. Sometimes they'll choose to wander all the way across the map, just travelling miles and miles, just to scan a tiny single artifact.
Well, I feel like there's all sorts of stuff for them to scan. Here's the giant robot hand and giant robot face right here.
Yeah, this is one of our favourite locations.
I imagine that must have been really fun to sort of come up with and then kind of see concept art for too. Yeah, such a really strong image.
There's a bunch of stuff there where I'll have to dig that out at some point. I've got an MS Paint sketch that I did.
Oh, you just sat down?
Just a big pink skull.
That's fine.
drawn over an early screenshot, and Ollie basically said, "Yeah, okay, I get it," and then did the magic of actually.
And you held it up really hard, and you were like, "No, this is mine." And then he put it on his fridge.
There's quite a lot of that stuff.
It's very good.
To be careful with.
Where were we going? There were more stuff. There was
okay,
more things over here.
So through there, actually, you can see the thing through the plates of the skull there, through the shattered jaw. That's a beacon. That's one of your sort of respawn point type beacons, where you can bring in another robot. However, at the minute, you can't capture it because there are other enemies around.
Oh my gosh! I wonder where they are.
Behind the rocks. There you go.
Well.
One of them spotted you. There you go.
Speak of the devil, and they shall appear.
So you want to use your shield and your AoE. And
I want to hide behind this rock for a second, and I want to see these little guys go to work.
Yeah, I think that probably.
There it is. Oh yeah, look at that. That nice little. It's very nice to have games where you can kind of just see faction politics happen right in front of you. No, that guy is not having a good day. This guy over here too, not too well. I think they did most of the work for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
So beacon active. So if you hit M on the map now, let's bring up the maps. Sorry.
Yeah.
So any of the yellow locations, you can now teleport
can
back and forth between any
jump
of those,
to, yeah.
and it'll call in a new robot, and then you are that robot from that point.
Very cool. I think we will still try and go get that little hacking tool at the moment. You told me before we were starting, though, that a lot of what's in this game is kind of this relaxed space, this sort of space with kind of implications as you wander it. For instance, wandering around finding this giant robot carcass. That's pretty awesome. But you told me that you're actually settling down to do a little bit more harder fiction about the game world too.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's quite a bit of sort of non-expositionary fiction in here, where it's just sort of chatter between robots. You can find logs, things like that. But but we haven't gone overboard in explaining what's going on. But I've actually sat down with Cassandra Core, the science fiction writer, and we've written up what is essentially an RPG-style source book of the world. So the sort of the manuals that will tell you sort of what was going on this planet, and what this civilization does, and what this culture was up to, and that kind of stuff. We've done one of those for the universe that this is set in. So if you want to kind of find out more about these factions and more about the remnants of things that were on the planet, and the sort of wider universe, and what's happened to humans and things like that, then you can read the source book and get that from it. And so I've dropped loads of references into the in-game logs, the in-game fiction that are better explained again by reading the fiction that Cass and myself put together.
Right. There's part of me that kind of enjoys that. It makes me think of, like, for me that feels like a very PC game thing to do, if that makes sense, in the sense of like having
actually having a manual,
like these wonderful manuals, like actually having a manual. Right now we've been noticing with all of our Nintendo Switch games is like
there's your shield.
Yeah, I know, where is it? I was like, where's the guy? I wanted to know where he was at. But the Nintendo Switch things, they're not giving us any manuals or anything, and then you walk in and you tell me that you're writing like a whole RPG source book. I think that's pretty wild.
I mean, I've always loved that kind of extra materials, when you get a map with the game, or you sort of going back to actually the first Elite had a novella that came in the box with it. I think it was about sort of one of the ship pilots, and a little story about what happened to him and stuff. And that's always had a sort of odd richness for me that I think people have tried to make happen in the game in the sort of past couple of decades. But I think having the extra materials there as a source book, it sort of teases out the sort of extent of the creativity of stuff that goes into games. So we're going to ship that as a PDF free for everyone to
very cool
to read. But hopefully we'll produce some physical copies as well, and people can.
Well, I enjoy
delve into that.
I enjoy the feel of that too, because I always feel like source books or things like that. You mentioned maps, right? Everybody can remember some game that they had like really good materials within maps or things like that. The one I always think of is there was an RPG for the PlayStation, or a remake of a Saturn RPG that was on the PlayStation. It was called Lunar, and it was made by Working Designs, took care of most of that, and that had an amazing actual bound leather book to it and a bunch of stuff.
Nice.
And having sort of that physical ephemera, which I've always found really interesting. There are a lot of dudes. Can I just get in close and get them to run away? Yeah, see if I can run away from them after they've run away from me.
They're going to come back in a minute.
I don't know. I mean, maybe I can get away with it. Oh, I thought I could. Oh, I'm like in a corner.
I think you can actually squeeze out through that gap there.
Yeah, there we go. There it is. Perfect. But that physical ephemera, having all of that stuff, particularly in this game, in the sense that exploring in this big world, the idea of grabbing a book or something to sit down and be like, well, here, that gives a weightiness to the implied lore of the space, I think, sometimes that you wouldn't get otherwise.
I think I'm in trouble here. Oh, no.
No.
Send them back again.
I don't...
Yeah, so hitting them with the other gun at the outset, hit them with the other gun as they flee is good.
Let's recharge this though.
There's another one coming in there. If they do get close, I think you can hit E to melee as well.
Oh, I think I'm caught reloading. Yeah. I was like, I can't do it. There we go. I was very, very nervous for a moment, but it turns out that that ability to get them to flee is surprisingly useful compared to maybe just like a plain explosion.
Yeah, it was the one that when we conceived it, we thought, oh well, that's just an extra option. No one's going to use
No,
that.
like,
and then it turns out to actually
That
be
really helped me out a ton right there. There's like a
One of the best
lot
ones.
of like legit applicability right there that I really liked.
You've actually got flashlight on as well, which
Oh, did I? Did I in my panic turn on a flashlight?
yeah, I think so. So if you hit X, I think
X? Oh, that's my shield.
Which one?
Ooh. That is a good sound effect though.
Bound to something else. Maybe V. That's one of the buttons down there.
No, I think that actually gets rid of. I think
Okay.
that was my thing. I think we're just gonna walk around with a flashlight. Is that something that they can detect? Is that something that they?
It was just
Because that would break my heart. This guy is a troublemaker.
yeah, he's persistent.
Let's see if we can get a little closer to him. He's running right off though. Here we go.
So he's a sniper, basically using the same weapon that you've got. So he was trying to. Oh, yeah, you're gonna need to reload and fall back, I think, from these
Yeah,
guys.
I think so. Do some shields so that we're okay.
You're getting to that sort of situation where I was talking about before, where it's very
Just
good
kind of
because-
everything building and building. You're right. It kind of started kind of small.
But now multiple factions have heard you. Well, they're going to engage each other.
Yeah, they're
now.
gonna. I was gonna say they're probably gonna fight each other. Oh, they're gonna turn on me pretty quick though.
Yeah, so that guy's going to flee because he was injured from the other fight. So he should be your sort of
They're
first target.
chasing. Well,
Yeah, it sounds like there's another faction again.
I was gonna
coming
say
down
I
from
want
the
to
hill.
try and move around and see if they'll take care of each other a little bit, which is obviously the most brave, not cowardly thing that you can do.
No, it's one of the best things to do in
No,
this game.
this is
It
just
really
me taking advantage of some wonderfully implemented game systems. I am not panicking and worried about these robots in the slightest. That's not what's going on.
So these guys have actually come up from another base behind the hill. So if this fight is prolonged, they will probably get reinforcements again.
Yeah, I hear an
on top
alarm
of that. Yeah, that's them,
too.
them
That
yelling
will
to
call
each
them
other that
in.
they've seen you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Okay. That feels all right.
So if you stop here and turn round,
Yes,
you think
right here.
there should be another emanation amongst this sort of junk. That's
Yeah, I
here.
would turn that. Oh, right there. Right perfectly there. I kind of like the way it kind of flies out and looks around. Can I grab you?
So you
I was
should
like, there we go,
definitely
scan
that
you.
one.
Oh,
somebody else
oh
there.
no, he walked away because he knew I was in the middle of something.
Yeah, yeah.
He was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Heather. You're talking to Jim.
Oh, no, he's
Interesting.
So now you've got a couple of missions basically that you could hand in, and at that point you can.
Yeah, where would be a nearby base?
Well, there's a base those guys came through. That's going to be quite a tough fight. That one. That's kind of it's. I mean, you may as well go for it.
You know what? I like that. May as well go for it. Yeah, sure.
But yeah,
Kind of crest over this hill.
It's always a bit of a tough one, that one, because there's always kind of patrols moving up and down that valley, and they call in a bit of assistance and stuff.
Okay.
So it'll get a bit hairy.
I don't know. Maybe I can pull this off. Maybe this is my chance to shine. This is my chance to show off all the big stuff in Signal from Tolva. Hopefully some other faction of robots just shows up and actually takes care of it for me, though.
I've had several big fights in these sort of locations where I've thought I've had it, and I've been carrying around a rock waiting to die, and chums have turned up from another patrol and piled into.
Oh, that's right. We did end up grabbing
Oh, what's happened there?
some stuff. I'm not sure. Was that
Oh, no.
supposed to happen?
No, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Did I just manage to heal myself and level up in the middle of nowhere?
You did, yeah.
Well-
yeah. I think we might have left the cheats in on this build. which
Oh,
means
I
you've
think
just,
I think I'll be
just
careful not to
cheated
push that button again. Yes, I'm a no good cheat.
yeah, we're playing a dev build, so it's probably got all the cheats enabled still.
Slip of the finger turns out to be one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
Okay, that's going
Fantastic.
to make this a bit easier.
I think it will probably help us out a little bit more. Let's see if we can see any of these fellows, though. There's that one there. It's like there must be more.
Yeah, there'll always be a few patrolling around bases.
Want to try and sneak around if we can.
The danger is that the base will produce...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, something like that.
Or is that just going to pop out more dudes?
No, that's actually
That would terrify
turret.
me.
That's a turret, which is now going to start shooting at you if it sees you.
That's a turret. It's so large.
Yeah, it's got sort of triple arm things that can engage multiple directions at once, and yeah, it's fairly aggressive. Hasn't seen you yet though, so you're all right.
Oh. Wonder what we should do. I say we go for it. Is that gonna...
I think you can better cheese it. Oh no, it's seen you. There you go.
Well, that got through a part of it. Oh, that does shoot all sorts of stuff, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. That, you were not kidding about that. That kind of being a very scary bit.
Yeah, so the noise from that's going to have alerted all the other guards.
Yeah.
They're going to come check out what's going on.
See if we can take them out kind of as they come. He's running. I was like, don't let him run away.
Yeah, get them in the back.
Yeah, that seems alright. And they are chirping and calling out to each other, which is kind of not great, but they aren't like all rushing me or anything much yet, so I feel kind of okay.
Yeah,
And then
the guards will never... Oh, hang on. That's a friendly.
There we go.
in. Yeah.
We have a couple of
That's a friendly patrol.
couple buddies, couple chums, like you were saying.
Yeah. So they're going to get engaged now, and that's going to make taking out that turret a bit easier.
Yeah, I would very much like to have a little bit of help with that. Can I draw their attention by kind of firing?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, and then move them down there. That would be wonderful. That would be just the sort of thing that I really, really would want.
Yeah, if you run over to the rock over there and fire again.
Oh boy.
I've seen it now anyway. But yeah, I guess it has 3 arms on it, so it can engage in every direction.
Yeah, it's looking all over the place at us. There's one of my little buddies though. I'm surprised that he is not.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna last for long.
Wow, that thing is terrifying. The fact that it could... Oh, he's running. He knows. He knows. The fact that it could just pop in like that is absolutely astounding to me. How fast can I run across here? Let's see if we can get this guy's attention, get him to come to us. He is far off, though. Will he notice?
Yeah, it's possible that you're getting guys coming in behind you now. Because I don't think...
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you did manage to capture that base before the timer ran down on that, basically. And, yeah, it'll spawn a new wave of guards.
Oh, wow.
Going to make things even
So,
trickier.
so I can't... So there is a little bit more pressure to kind of pick up my pace. I think I'm not in a very good spot, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you've gone from being sort of absolutely optimal with the cavalry charging over the hill to now...
To
yeah.
probably the worst. But that's kind of the fun thing about a thing like this, too, is the fact that it can kind of go south. Or things can turn around. Right? People make a big deal about emergence, but the nice thing is, like, we have our kind of own stories that we can find in games, especially when there's a lot of parts that are moving around and intersecting with each other.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that both from Sir and this that we found most interesting was the people having different takes on the kind of game that they have. And I think that's inevitable with anything that's fairly systemic. You can have a bad playthrough if the systems just don't function as you know in the optimal way.
Yeah, it doesn't quite gel.
The sort of proceduralness of, I mean, I guess that was one of the main things that was interesting for us in building this game after playing Sir, was that we assumed that the procedurality of it meant that people could have a better than normal or a suboptimal game just dependent on the environment that was created and the world that they ended up playing in. But we found that it's just as true in this, where we built everything by hand.
Right.
Because of the nature of having a whole bunch of AI just doing its own thing and systemically running around. There must be another bad guy.
I was like, I'm looking for this guy.
Yeah,
He must be around somewhere.
There has to be another person.
Because I'm like, otherwise this turret is just causing me no end of grief.
Yeah, there's got to be one more guy that you want taken out for...
Oh, no.
Otherwise you can capture the base.
Disaster.
I think,
Oh, there he is. That's him.
No, that's a friendly come in, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah,
That is.
That's another friendly.
Where's our other dude?
Yeah, there's another bad guy holding off that capture. Anyway, I think basically because you used the everybody flee function, he's fallen back and hidden, and he's now holding off you capturing that location.
Such a pain in the butt. I thought I had that, even with that turret showing up, but no. Just some guy hiding in a corner stopping me from...
oh, your little buddy did it.
Little buddy!
He's killed the turret on his own.
I'm amazed.
Oh, now he's going for the capture as well.
This guy's really going for it.
He could actually, if he survives, he could actually capture this base on his own.
Well, let's help him. You know, I was gonna maybe regroup and reorganize myself, but I think our mission in life right now is to protect our new little friend and go from there.
Try hitting him right again.
No.
Oh, he's down.
No. My friend. We were going to be best friends. We were going to find out what the signal from Tulva is.
Our designer James has a real strong ambition for people to become so attached to one drone that they'll nurse it through the game.
He could have been my little robot buddy, but unfortunately I don't think it worked out that way.
There's got to be another guy.
Well, there's that one.
Oh, there's one. Yeah.
Maybe this is him. He doesn't seem to realize.
He's not interested.
Hey, you.
Just pop the bag.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I could have. What was it? What button was that? E? Just chase him and do that. There we go. We did it. That's fantastic.
Okay, so you've taken that base now.
Yes.
New dudes will come in. If you run over to the terminal.
Are we gonna be able to hack them and do all that stuff now too?
Yes, you can. Yeah. So if you go customize
loadout.
I would recommend the weapon you're using less seems to be the sniper rifle.
Yeah.
So if you
switch
make
out
it secondary and
with
use that one.
The squid figure you were saying before.
So you've now got that equipped. If you switch to that. You can. That's the one more. You get a little screen. It's a little screen on it.
Where are you?
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
So
yes.
You can use that to recruit a couple of guys, and they'll know.
Oh, fantastic!
So if you aim like you would with iron sights to someone sort of further away.
Oh yeah, so I can order them around and say, hey, go here.
They'll run to there. They'll give up on it eventually, but come back to you. But that means they'll go and investigate somewhere. So if it's close, they just walk over. But if it was further away down the valley, they would run all the way down, and then. Assuming they didn't find anything, they would come back.
No, that's nice and easy and kind of intuitive too, though, to just kind of, like...
I think you can pick up one more guy.
I was like, I want to grab this one other guy if I can.
Now that guy's a higher level than you are.
Oh, son of a gun.
So he's going to say no.
Look at that.
He's not going to come with you.
He looked great. I wanted him to be my guy. This guy should be good.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So he's going to come as well. So those guys will just follow you now until death. Although if you hit reload, you would be able to just get rid of them and
that sort of like dismisses them?
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's see if we can't find at least one more thing, maybe take one more base with our new robot companions, because I like this particularly too, kind of in the way that, you were saying people might get attached to drones or things like that. I think being able to do, there are guys right there. Having our little army that we can bring with us is just, that's a nice little feeling, I think.
They're a lot of fun to play with. And it sort of changes the nature of the game as well, depending on how you choose to play. So a lot of people will play all the way through without using these guys at all. And towards the end, when you're fighting lots of enemy squads, that becomes...
Yeah, totally just call them all in.
It becomes a lot more challenging if you're not using buddies. But then you're also losing weapon slots to have those guys with you, so your own firepower is diminished and so on. So
yeah, kind of a cost-benefit analysis going on there.
Yeah, so these crash sites are all the way across the map, and they... a bit of a clipping fail there. So yeah, we are still a month away
from it's fine.
Having all this stuff fixed. So up ahead you can see a big toxic cloud, which you're not going to be able to travel through at the minute.
Oh, I do see that. Look at that. Oh.
Yeah, so that's
no good.
That's one of a bunch of hazard areas that basically are going to keep you locked out for the minute until you've upgraded some of your systems and you can go and investigate.
Yeah, and then look at that arch and everything too. There's so much stuff.
Yeah,
and I can kind of hear the Geiger counter starting to beep. There's no way I'm heading that way.
Yeah, but you can head left from here and then up the valley into to more stuff beyond. There's another mission location up there, and
Yeah.
another base and stuff up
Kind
there.
of through here. That looks like a...
Yeah, there's another ambush down there.
So we'll take care of them. I think that would be a nice dramatic way to...
You might find that there's a small surprise before you get to the ambush.
A
section.
small surprise before I get to the... Now you're just playing... Now you're being coy with me right now.
Yeah,
All right.
Another turret. coming.
Another turret.
But that should be relatively.
So
easy to
we
take
have
out
our
with
we
these
have our guys here.
Yeah, so if you just start pounding it, and guys are gonna get stuck in as well.
I like how you knew, and you were like, I don't know, there might be something, and oh, they are. That thing, they are both gone.
Yeah.
My wonderful little buddies. Oh, don't you hurt my pals. Don't hurt my pals. This is what you get.
Yeah, so because you're quite low level yourself, you're only able to recruit quite low level guys at the moment. So
Oh,
they
no.
don't survive well against the turret.
I was like, let's at least take care of that. Let's avenge our little buddies. That seems okay. Oh no, my little guys.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
It is very sad.
There's more where they came from.
I just
Oh, I think someone else.
I don't like losing them. They're very dear to my heart. And then get them to run again. Give me a little bit of time. He's putting up a shield though, which is just...
Yeah, as they sort of level up, they get access to more of the same weaponry.
Let's see if we can get him first. Oh, yeah, I was firing something pretty strong there. So we got rid of that ambush. That feels pretty good.
Yeah, and you get a little auto repair capacity upgrade there as well.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
your bots will now heal themselves slightly
Yeah.
better as you go through the game.
So I think that's probably where we're going to leave it for now. That was really, really fun. So this is Signal from Tolva. Do you guys know kind of what your ETA is for when you would like to have this released out for everybody to get a chance and play it?
Well, we just did a little limited key run over on Itch, so we sold out on that, and we're just getting everyone's feedback, and hopefully it'll land in April. Once
April.
we do a bit more bug fixing and a little bit more tweaking of all the sort of stuff that we got back from them. And at the minute, the guys are full pelt crunch trying to get that done. So,
Well, it's already in a very, very, very good shape. So thank you very much,
Thank
Jim.
you.
This was awesome. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.
thank you.